everyone! Welcome to Ashley Kerwin is Trash. Today I will be ranking the Degrassi characters from Season 2. First, I would like to say that I am only including main characters because Dean and Craig's dad would be at the bottom for obvious reasons. Also, I'm going to add a content warning because this video lightly touches on the topic of rape, eating disorders, and domestic abuse. I'm not going to go into full details about it, but it is mentioned when discussing certain characters, which also means that there's going to be spoilers ahead. Okay, I know I said Ashley is trash, but while that is still true, I'm going to give her a break this season because the one main character who truly deserves to get ripped apart more than her would be Emma Nelson. Ashley at least had some redeeming moments this season. As I was watching, I could not find a single one for Emma. She was insufferable all around. She treats Mr. Simpson horribly the whole time when all he's trying to do is be nice to her. She embarrasses him in front of his students. She's a brat to both him and her mom. She tries to guilt her mom for having another relationship, and again when she mentions having an abortion. Not only does she throw a big hissy fit and disrespects her mother's decision, but she also makes the whole situation about her and goes behind her mother's back to tell Mr. Simpson when that wasn't her place in any way. She's self-absorbed and always sticks her nose in other people's business. I couldn't stand her this season. She was worse than Ashley, who, speaking of which, is next on the tier. The most hated character in Degrassi history, and for a fairly good reason. Let's start with her worst episode this season, the one where she attempts to get her friends back. Did she even make an effort to apologize to them in the first place? We just see her try to hang out with them and fall into self-pity when they're not having it. After she gives a half-assed apology and everyone starts to forgive her, she tells Terry that she should have apologized months ago. No shit! Did she just go that whole time without trying to talk to them and just expected them to pretend like nothing happened? Not to mention when she trashes Terry, the only one on her side, who she knows already struggles with self-confidence. Also, in the same episode, she plays with Jimmy's emotions as she always does, only to try to get with Sean at the same time. Thank God the writers nipped that in the bud. Can you imagine another season of just Sean and Ashley? Yeah, no. Also, the episode after Paige was raped, she kept pushing the issue even after Paige repeatedly tells her she doesn't want to do a song about it. I get that she doesn't know, but when someone says they aren't comfortable with a serious topic like that, they should never try to push the issue. The only reason she isn't lower than Emma is because she actually did have some redeeming moments, like when she helped Paige and supported her once she learned what happened. She also tries to help Toby when she learns about his eating disorder. She wasn't always completely terrible this season, but she was pretty damn close. So, I know I praised Toby a lot in the last video, and I am sad to say that his character does in fact go downhill. I will give him that he had one great episode, and it was the one where he tries to join the wrestling team. The episode is powerful because it shows that disordered eating is not just something that happens to girls, but it can affect boys too. We hardly ever see this in the media, so I love that Degrassi had an episode about it. But aside from this episode, what did Toby do? He became kind of creepy and whiny, and he was obsessed with finding a girl and then complained that he couldn't have one. He also wouldn't respect Kendra's boundaries when she tried to set some, so I'm sorry, Toby, but I have to put you down here this season. Y'all remember when Spinner had a sister for 3 seasons before we never see or hear from her again? Me neither. I really don't think the writers knew where they were going with this, aside from her being Spinner's sister and Toby's girlfriend. She's just kind of there. I will give her credit, though, because she's kind of a badass who doesn't take anyone's shit. Okay, don't hate. Hear me out. Marco is great and I love him, but does anyone remember what he did in Season 2? He was a good dancer, which I don't think was ever mentioned again. He was Craig's friend, he dated Ellie, came out as gay to her, and that was it. He was more of an underdeveloped side character this season, and of course that changes later on, but for the sake of this only being Season 2, I unfortunately have to put him here. Aw, look at baby Ellie, before her character revolved around men. She didn't do much this season, but I did like her okay. She's a decent friend to Ashley, and remember when she rejected Jimmy because she couldn't date her friend's ex? Let's all take a moment to remember this and laugh. Oh, Manny. I can't wait to see more of her development. As of now, she's still Emma's sidekick, and aside from that episode where she and Craig went on that cringy date, She doesn't really do anything this season. I can get behind her calling out Emma though, which she does a lot. I'm sorry, remind me again which one was the voice of reason in that friendship? Jimmy! He was unfortunately sidelined this season. I don't think he really got a single episode where he was the main plot. Any episode surrounding him that was major really only showed how he deserves better people in his life, such as Ashley and Spinner. He's still good, I just hate how he didn't do anything this season. I'm ready for him to get over his problems with Sean. Let's talk about Paige. She's worked her way up to B tier. She gets better as time goes on, and as for this season, she's still pretty nasty to people, but she did go through a lot. I hated having to rewatch that episode with her and Dean. It's painful watching how this affects her throughout the series and the way everyone treats her after. She tried to help Manny when she saw she was talking to him, and she was also concerned about Craig whenever his dad died, and she stood up for Terry when she was body shamed. She may be a mean girl, but she's also a genuine person, and she was such a badass when she performed that song right in front of Dean. Our poor, underrated Hazel. This may be her best season. We get one whole episode about her this season. One episode in all of 5 seasons she's in. She is a great friend to everyone, and we see this. She is one of the first to be open to forgiving Ashley. She was the main one supporting Paige after she was raped. She was a good friend to Terry and would defend her when someone else treated her poorly. There was a lot of potential for her, and it was wasted. I really liked Hazel though, and I wish she could have gotten more storylines. Liberty's in A tier again. She's still herself, a badass who makes sure she gets what she wants. We still don't get to see much of her this season, but she's amazing. The thing about Degrassi is there are a lot of characters. It's hard for everyone to get the same amount of screen time, and unfortunately for this season, Sean was a victim of this. He's still great in everything we see him in though. He's a great friend to Craig. We see how helpful he is once he realized Craig was abused. He's the reason Joey even found out about it. He supported him the whole time. He's also a great boyfriend to Emma. And one of my favorite moments was when he was telling her that while he doesn't care about the issue she's talking about, he can see it's important to her, and he encourages her to stand up for what she believes in. He's a great guy, and he will always be one of my favorite characters. Damn it, Spinner! You were having such a good season, and then you had to go and steal Jimmy's MP3 player. I hated that episode, but I really did enjoy him this season. He's one of the funniest characters, and he really is a good person. He's so protective over his sister, and I thought that was really sweet. You can tell he cares about her a lot, and he's not going to let Toby do anything to hurt her. He was so supportive of Paige after he found out what happened, and also, one of my favorite Spinner moments was the episode where he found out Terry was a model. He was so protective of her, from the guy who harassed her, even to when Paige tried to accuse her of stealing at first. He was so sweet to encourage her when she wasn't feeling confident. And I really wanted these two to get together so bad. I like to pretend that after he left the show, he got an annulment and reunited with her years later. I still love Spinner, and I'm going to put him up here. I have a soft spot for Terry. She's so sweet, and I really wish her friends were nicer to her. She deals with so much from both Paige and Ashley. No one deserves her as a friend. While I hate that she didn't get much screen time, one of my favorite moments this season was at the end when we see her with Craig. After he loses his dad, she's able to calm him down, and she empathizes with him and is able to share her own experience with grief. She's such a sweetheart, and I will never forgive the writers for what they did to her. Look how adorable he is early on. I really like how much more we get to see of him this season. He's a good friend to Toby throughout. He's a sweetheart who tries to help animals when they are in danger. He genuinely felt bad in that episode whenever he upset his teacher. He tried to spare Liberty's feelings when he was about to ask Paige to the dance. And most important was how much he supported Paige after finding out what happened to her. This little guy was ready to take on someone much bigger than him after finding out what he did. He's so pure, and I really do love his character. He deserves to be up here. My reason for making a tier for every season is because I never feel the exact same way about a character, and this is one of my prime examples of this. My favorite character for this season is Craig. Craig is one of the most well-written characters in the series, and I feel for him. He has one of the most memorable introductions as we see him being abused by his father and desperately wanting to have a relationship with his younger sister, which is the sweetest thing. We can already tell how much he cares about her. We then get to see how badly his father's death affects him. His episodes are memorable, he's great to Joey in this season, and he's willing to babysit late without complaining. He's a great friend to everyone, and he tries to keep peace between Sean and Jimmy. He's also a strong feminist, as we can see this in the Taming of the Shrew episode. Early season Craig was just so good, and I miss him. He's had some great storylines overall, and I like the way he was written in every season, but he's just so sweet early on. Season 2 Craig was the best. Thank you for watching. Season 3 will be coming soon.